Now your host, Calvin Alexander.
Hey Cowboy fans, today's episode is brought to you by Oakley Burklow, your go-to independent insurance agent and proud OSU alum. Oakley helps with home, auto, life, and business insurance, working with multiple top-rated insurance companies to find you the right coverage at the right price. Licensed in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Call 918-280-9068 or email oakley.burklow@connectmyinsurance.com. Personal service, honest advice, and a fellow poke helping you protect what matters most. Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the CGA Tour podcast. As always here, I'm your host, Calvin Glenn Alexander, joined by my co-host here, Trey Florence, and our special guest here, former Oklahoma State walk-on kicker, Alexi Bollwerk. Alexi, I hope you just love the photo we found here for you today. Up here in your top left, however you're watching. Alexi, how's it going?
Going well. I mean, can't complain with what's going on right now in the football portal. Love to see what's going on. So, yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking some Oklahoma State hoops and football.
If you're not already, you got to follow Alexi on Twitter at DeepPocketsBet or X, whatever you're saying. And Alexi has all the greatest bet information. He started out a new podcast series as well, too, with his brother, Kenny, who both are Oklahoma State grads. So follow that a bit later. But Alexi, thanks for joining. So it's official. We got Drew Mestemaker. He's officially an Oklahoma State Cowboy. He shared it. Eric Morris has shared it. Trey, what's your immediate reaction here? Trey, I think you're muted, unfortunately. Alexi, I'll pivot to you there.
I am excited about it, that's for sure, because it's definitely going to be a welcome change, but I feel like we're going to be very similar to what North Texas looks like. And if I'm going to be honest with you, with how the portal's so far looking.
Alexi, what do you think here as well?
Oh, it's huge. This is incredible what Oklahoma State's done. Now, I know a lot of it is probably because we have Eric Morris, who he obviously was a quarterback at North Texas, but I mean, to get this quarterback of this caliber to the Big 12 after two rough seasons, now winning a single Big 12 game, this is huge. It's huge for the program. It speaks that we're going to spend some money, which is the new era of NIL. You have to spend money if you want to compete now with these teams. So it's massive. We're going to be able to hopefully get some other guys on the offensive side. You know, maybe that opens up some more talent outside of North Texas. I know we're bringing in more guys, but yeah, it's just sky's the limit right now. We have so much talent that could potentially come in. And the home run guy is obviously a Mestemaker. So looking really forward to seeing what we can do in Big 12 play with them.
Yeah, I want to give a couple of just really eye-popping stats here in case you don't already know. Drew Mestemaker is the only quarterback to throw more touchdown passes this season than Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza.
Woo!
His current total of 36 puts him 2 ahead of Mestemaker, but that's after a playoff game. So got that going. And Mestemaker finished 14th overall in completion percentage, 69%. Nice. And despite taking 19 sacks, Mestemaker still finished with 211 rushing yards and averaged 4.5 yards per rush. He made the most of his 26 true rushing attempts and gained at least 10 yards 9 times this season, tied him for 88th among quarterbacks in 2025. So we do have a guy who's a little bit more mobile than Zane Flores, and a guy who can definitely pass a lot better than a former wide receiver / quarterback / wide receiver, then quarterback again, Sam Jackson the fifth. So all of those are just incredible things going here for the Cowboys. The biggest thing I want to take away is that we outbid other programs. Like we were vying for him. This was announced initially, I believe, last week by Robert Allen, initially reported, who's retiring from sideline reporting, I believe,
right,
but not retiring from the game completely of reporting, from my understanding, although it could be wrong there. And this is one where Carson Cunningham and the Pistols Firing podcast just said, hey, we were vying against Oregon, who's got Dan Lanning, and I know they're in the thick of it right now with the playoffs, but still, we're going up against Oregon, a team that beat us 69-3, and we allowed 55 points to on defense and 14 points to for 2 pick sixes on offense. That we were going up against here, trying to basically figure out, hey, are we going to have enough funds to spend? I think that it's just really a big thing overall. But I want to ask both of you guys here. We do have 59 guys leaving the program, 4 guys currently signed. I expect the number to keep going up as you're listening to this, recording on Monday here. So, Alexi, I'll ask you first. Are we in a tough spot, do you think, with the amount of guys leaving? What do you make of the amount of guys transferring out of the roster, transferring off the team overall?
I don't think so. I mean, just look at, like I said, it's a new era of college football, and especially with how bad we were last year, how many truly on the Oklahoma State team are going to go play at a high-level Division I Big 12 team or even in another conference? I could see a lot of those guys going to a North Texas type school, Tulane, not to give any knocks to those schools, but it's just a different level of playing when you play in the Big 12 like that. So I think losing that many players isn't a big deal. I mean, we were bad. We won 0 Big 12 games last year. We were not competitive in really any of those games. So and I think that plan is get as many guys from North Texas who he likes and thinks can contribute to Oklahoma State, but also go outside and find other guys too. And I think we're already seeing that. There's a lot of guys who are on visits from other schools and big time schools too. It's not just, those smaller level schools. You're seeing guys. I think we have a guy from Oklahoma coming to look at us. A couple other ones too. I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think actually it's exciting because we're going to have a totally new team. And as I said, it's weird because you can flip from literally being the worst team. And then if you find the right guy and the right coach and the resources, you can flip and we could be a top 3, top 5 Big 12 team next year, which is crazy to say, but that's just the way it is in college sports right now.
Trey, what do you think about this as well? Are you worried at all that some of the guys like Rodney Fields Jr. and really the guys who made a couple of bright spots last year are transferring off the team?
Not really. Like also like kind of like what we've already kind of talked about. Like it's going to be quite a turnaround for us. Also, I just feel like every coordinator has pretty much left us. So we are just basically rebuilding from complete scratch. So that's where we're at. I'm excited to see what's the changes and everything. I know Eric Morris, that really helped us, at least in my mind, to get Drew. And I'm sure he's working on getting some other phenomenal talent. I still can't believe just how quickly the portal has just changed everything in college football. It's not my favorite thing. We've discussed it before, but it's also good that we actually have a coach that knows about the portal and does really, really well about it, because that's what's helping us right now. I mean, it's also kind of weird too. Like you have a lineman that's going into the portal, but he's also going to come back and see your own school, even though he was, played there. So it's just like, this is how wild this portal is. And I just can't wait to see if there's any other random stupid facts like that ever again.
Well, it's surprising to me how much education you have to give to people because all this stuff is changing all the time. Like it's not education to somebody who doesn't know what's going on out of stupidity or anything. It's just education on stuff that's like changing all the time. Hey, we've got a brand new coaching staff. Everyone's new, it seems, completely, including Rob Glass. So yeah, you're going to re-interview and probably ask for more money and probably, do all those things. What I don't love is that apparently Rodney Fields Jr. was really lowballed as a guy here for the amount of money. But then again, you know what? He didn't rush for 1,000 yards last year. Like he didn't make a certain amount of carries or attempts or prove that he was just a guy who was just unstoppable, couldn't lose him whatsoever. And there's other guys here now in the portal too. We do have a long snapper and a punter. I know it's kind of odd to shout this out here, but really all I'm saying is that there are plenty more guys we are interested in. We are hosting a former Texas offensive lineman, former Florida International defensive lineman, former Arizona State linebacker, schedules a visit. Notre Dame defensive tackle announces an offer as well too. And then, 3 other guys here, a guy from K-State, guy from Texas Tech, and another guy from Texas Tech. All who have played a lot of games. That's the key thing I want to say about this. It's last year, Trey. I think it was you and I, or maybe it was Lexi, you and I here, who are both frequent guests of the podcast now, with the co-host and the guest. There have been frequent amount of times where I've gone, okay, hey, we've got a UCLA guy. He's a, power 4. We've got, a guy from Alabama or a guy from OU. All due respect to Caleb Hicks. Caleb Hicks did not make the OU roster. He was a practice squad guy. So looking more into it, I should have known better, right? But all these guys have played in a ton of games, are really getting out there. Alexi, as a former kicker yourself, do you have any insight into the punter or the long snapper and how great or good they could be? I know one's from Grand. We're not getting these guys themselves. One's from SMU and the other one's from Stephen F. Austin, of course. So they're not playing the college football playoffs right now, I would say.
No, it's huge. I mean, I don't think people realize it might sound easy. Yeah, you're going out there and you're hiking the ball, you're long snapping it, but it's harder than you think it is. I mean, when I would go into practice and watch what they actually do, like they don't just go up there and just hike it right away. Like it's a whole thing, the whole technique. They go in, they have a good zip on the ball, and there's pressure sometimes. Like if a guy gets hurt and there's a backup, there's pressure on those guys too to do well. And even holders. That's why it's weird whenever you see a holder come in, so I hold for a field goal. There's times where that guy will get hurt randomly in a game, and you have to bring in a backup holder, and they're like, "Well, we'll see what he does." It's the same thing as the center. Look at what happens in a real game when a center comes out of a game. It feels like it changes in some way. There's just a different dynamic to it. So, no, it's huge. If this guy's as good as people are saying he is as a long snapper, I mean, those are little things, but at the end of the day, they're good things, and I think that could lead us to even like, you know, especially on the special team side, you want to have good play. You want to be able to execute on special teams. So no, it's something that people don't look at as much, but it's definitely important.
Yeah. All right. Well, the other recent news here is that we have the other guy. We have our possible running back number 1 here. Trey, what are your immediate thoughts here on getting Caleb Hawkins signed? And he officially announced that this is his photo he released, etc.
Yep. I'm excited. I know we were kind of up in the air, but it just kind of completes that 1-2 duo of the quarterback and running back because they've been working together and everything like that. So that helps us out immensely. I have a feeling we're going to be looking very similar to what North Texas was looking like offensive wise, which is really exciting to see because that's what I feel like was OSU's main offense for at least from 2010 to now. Besides this last season. So it's really good to see that we're actually kind of moving back in the general direction of what we are used to seeing, even under a new head coach and everything like that. So all good things, I'm super excited. I'm trying not to like be over hype on this team because I at least want to see them on the field first and foremost, and then kind of have my expectations. But so far, I know it's like super, super early in the next season, but I feel really good.
Yeah, Trey, Alexi, what do you think here about getting Caleb Hawkins here signed with Oklahoma State and also offering the other North Texas running back, Ashton Gray, as well?
Huge. I mean, you take the one guy, you get Drew, and boom, you go get Caleb. That's massive. I mean, look, Calvin, I know we talked about this. We talked about, well, can these guys come over and translate what they did at North Texas? Absolutely. I don't care what league you're playing in. If you're putting up over 50 points a game on offense, something's right. Something's going right. You have good players, you have good coaching, whatever it is. So if there's doubters out there who think, oh, these guys were playing at North Texas, they're not going to come to the Big 12 and do what they did. Yes, they can. They may not be as dynamic, but they can absolutely come in and make an impact for Oklahoma State. And so I'm pumped for this. I mean, it looks like this guy was overlooked. You don't score 25 touchdowns. That's not a mistake. That's true numbers right there. What did you rush for? Over 1,300 yards. Sorry, 1,400. He had 1,434 yards, 25 touchdowns on 231 carries from Shawnee, Oklahoma too. So I'm not sure how he got away from the Oklahoma guys here. But yeah, I'm excited for this guy. It should be awesome. It's fun to, like Trey just said, this is what Oklahoma State football is like. We have a fun offense that just can pour it on and score as many points as they kind of want to.
Yeah, and Hawkins is on 3 lists him as the number 6 player in the transfer portal, and 247 ranks him as number 16 player in the portal. On 3 list Hawkins is a better prospect coming out of the portal than Drew Mestemaker. So to me, this is a gigantic improvement. It is a little interesting because we've got Caden Batman Jones on the roster as well too, who's re-upped his commitment to Oklahoma State after committing to KU and then back to Oklahoma State and flipping. So we will have more than one running back. So I would love to see us get Ashton Gray as well, who's a little bit change pace guy. He's 6 feet tall. He rushed for almost 400 yards with North Texas last year. The one thing I want to ask though is this North Texas team did not go to the playoffs like out of the G5, right? Like they did not win. It did not win their conference, right? So are we worried at all that like, hey, we are bringing G5 guys all of a sudden to Power 4 level football, and there's an offseason they can work with, right? But they've got the same coach. They've got this. It's the same guys. Besides some other thing I'm missing here, why would that make it all of a sudden where we could be that much better? I mean, if North Texas last year plays against Texas Tech, I don't think they're winning, right?
Right, but I feel like we would at least win against Tulsa, though. So that's at least an improvement from last season, to be fair. But I also feel like, yeah, you're giving them more time to actually develop. Yes, they're going to probably face more competition. But I feel like they were kind of blowing people out in their conference for the most part. So it's just going to, I know it's not going to be perfect. And Texas Tech is probably going to be our hardest challenge, just depending on how they're going to recruit again. But I don't know. A lot of people may not recruit there after they got blown out, by Oregon just last weekend or last week. So it's just, it's always going to be ups and downs, but I feel like they're going to have at least more time and potentially, more eyes on them. So it's going to make them want to step up more.
Yeah, Alexi, what do you think about all these guys are moving up to the Power 4 level? I mean, I love that we, probably beat Tulsa, right? But I'd also want us to win a couple of Big 12 games. I mean, we almost beat UCF with our team as is. So that would have been a great one to put a feather in the cap last year. But I got to think for sure we'd be doing it this year. We are taking guys who have been overlooked and underscouted, which has been the classic Oklahoma State MO over so many years. And now we're basically doing that again, but it's a brand new coaching staff. Everything good to go. It just does worry me a bit if I'm playing devil's advocate of, okay, well, are these guys just as good as KU's roster? Are they just as good as Arizona State's roster? What do you think?
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair to make that point. What I would say though is kind of something you said. They're going to have some extra motivation too. They're probably going to be hearing, oh, these guys are coming from North Texas. They can't be this good in the Big 12. I just think you have to throw that out the window. You saw the talent that they had at North Texas. You saw the points they put up. You saw their numbers. Yes, they're not going to be playing those type of teams anymore. They'll be playing some much better and more competitive Big 12 teams, but also the resources at Oklahoma State should be immensely better. I mean, you're going from a team like North Texas or a school like North Texas over to Oklahoma State, a Big 12 program. Our facilities are great. We have awesome practice facilities inside the locker rooms, all that kind of stuff. This is going to lead them to big things. And I think what Eric Morris really needs to do well is get your guys from North Texas, get all those guys who can do well at the Big 12, but also go out and find the talent that needs to clean it up too. So for example, their defense, obviously the North Texas defense wasn't great last year. Not sure how many guys on the defense side you want to get from North Texas, but I'm sure there's a couple key guys you can find, but also go out and explore, find other guys from other schools and fill those pieces. So I think they'll be fine. They'll transition. Not saying they're going to go out there and win the Big 12, but they'll probably, just early opinion, I would say they can win 8 games. And I think that's a huge win for Oklahoma State after what they've been.
Yeah, to your point there, we have offered or have the interest in a lot of wide receivers and offensive linemen from North Texas, but only one corner and one defensive lineman from North Texas. And the rest are really, I mean, we've got Coastal Carolina in here. We've got, there are several other schools here, but we've got OU, Texas Tech, Kentucky. I mean, I can keep going here kind of as is, but there's a lot of other guys where I'm like, okay, at least we're interested in guys that are already Power 4 guys transferring in. Does it suck at all, though, that some of these wide receiver guys that for a while I just really want to see play, like Shredden and other guys have hit the portal? Or am I just really caught up on some names I know?
Me personally, I think you're caught up on names that you know, because that's not what football, I mean, I hate to say this, but that's not what college football is anymore. It's just, yeah, we love to have, Whedon where we had him for a couple of years, and the same thing with Zach. But now it's just all right, who can we get to be a 1-year contract to make the biggest bang for their buck type of thing and try to make the school go as far as possible. It's so sad that we have to say that nowadays, but that is just the new reality of college football unless there is some restriction in place.
All right. Well, we also unfortunately have to talk about the Oklahoma State basketball game yesterday. Lexi, know you're a huge basketball guy here, so just want to start out with you and ask your quick thoughts on it's not a good loss, not a good win. What can we take away from this game?
Well, My biggest concern coming into this game was the defense, and coming out of that game, it's the defense again. I mean, we can score. Do we score efficiently? Sometimes we do. I think we could still clean it up on the offensive side, but I think the biggest problem is the defense. And as I said, going into the game, I wasn't really fond of the defense, and a lot of those reasons, I looked at a metrics page. It's called Bart Swervik, so it tells you a lot about the defense. And their defense efficiency right now is ranked 117th in the country. That's not really great at all. Texas had way too many open shots. They had way too many open threes. They kind of had their way inside. That's a concern for me. I mean, they have to clean things up. I don't know if they make complete adjustments and change their defense from, I know we were talking about earlier, Calvin, but like from a man to something else. I don't know what they're going to do, but Big 12 play is going to be tough. And I just didn't see it from the defense yesterday. The offense was fine. My biggest problem and concern is that defense. They got to clean it up.
Yeah, we were never projected to win the game by Ken Palm or ESPN or anything going into it. We were projected to lose, I think, by, was the spread like 11.5? Is that right?
Yes, it was 11.5 was the spread. And I didn't expect us to win either, but at least look a little bit better.
I mean, 22-point loss is just really bad to open up conference play. The couple things that stuck out to me, granted, as a current basketball coach, is we're playing man, they're playing man. That's it. Like we have to play more zone. We have to somehow stop them from shooting so many threes and making them. I mean, Fallah made his fifth three of his career. That's a huge, great spot there that I can throw out as a stat. But like that's not going to do anything for you. Anthony Royce should have shot way more threes. He was 6 of 8 shooting threes. He needs to shoot 14. I mean, there were glaring deals here that really his plus minus was a negative 21, but he still had 22 points in the game. And Roy, and his offensive rating is 176%. Like it's just off the charts. But you've got Christian Coleman here at 49%. You've got Kanye Clary also at 49%. And each of these guys, I mean, they're playing significant minutes. Clary's playing 30 and putting up 2 points. We cannot have that happen, especially when they're playing man against us. And we need to get down to the basket a lot more if we're going to play this fast. Trey, what did you take away from the game?
Again, I have 2 points from this. It's like one, leading up to the game, I know our strength schedule wasn't the toughest. I do know that. So obviously, like our toughest opponent was OU this so far. So like the being 12-1 going into that game kind of gave us all like a little bit more hope than what we probably should. So I know that was probably partially because we hadn't really played anybody, and it kind of showed too. And then two, we're just not good at defending that three ball, because that's what killed us against OU. And Texas Tech didn't shoot like every single shot from there, but they still had a very, very respectable 46% threes, 17 for 37. So they still shot plenty of threes, not as much as what OU did against us, but that's still very sad to see that that's like kind of been how we've been losing our 2 games so far, is that three ball. And it just, I don't know. It didn't feel like we showed up. I think it was probably partially, it was our first road game, kind of like true road game, because we didn't really have any road games this season. It was always a neutral site. So I just want to maybe next year, or, whenever we actually have a chance to look at our schedule, maybe let's put like 1 or 2 challenging people in like the preseason of the season for us, so that we can actually play somebody at their place, so that we can get more experience.
Yeah, I mean, the Texas A&M game is the one that we can hang our hat on so far in the season, but then there's a large drop-off after that for the wins. I mean, granted, the Northwestern one's pretty good. I'll give us that one for sure, too. That's another Power 4 conference win. But, yeah, playing Bethune-Cookman and scoring 103 points is not gearing us up for conference play in the same week that we play against Tech. But then again, Texas Tech's a really good team. Like, I think Texas Tech is going to go on in the tournament and win a couple games. Alexi, you think any different? You think they're going to contend for the conference title?
Yeah, I wanted to make one quick point to Trey with the 3-point attempts yesterday. So I just looked this up while he was talking about it. Oklahoma State ranks 345th in the country at 3-pointers allowed. That's bad. And they shot 37 yesterday, made 17 of those. So obviously when you shoot that many threes, a lot of them are probably going to go in if you're having a good day. And they shot 46% from the line at the 3-point line. So just a couple things to back that up. Just they have to figure out how to defend the 3-point line. But yes, Texas Tech is really good. I don't even think their best players were great yesterday. I think a lot of them, well, Toppin had 23, I know, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like that was even Tech's best game that they played. I think it was mostly just how bad we played defensively. So yeah, this is a good Tech team all around. They'll be good. They're going to be top 5 probably in the Big 12 and of course make the tournament. So, it's the first Big 12 game. The non-conference schedule definitely hurts us, but hopefully we win and take care of business at home. But of course, we have to clean up the defense. If we're going to allow that many threes and allow that many points, we're just not going to be very competitive in those games.
Yeah, the one other thing is they really just out-rebounded us, too. I mean, we've got to figure it out. I know they've got... I think JT Toppin will probably be a top 15 overall draft pick. Maybe he's first rounder, worst case scenario. But we've just got to be able to get some more off the glass. I mean, they out-rebounded us 34-28 defensive rebounding and 14-8 offensive rebounding. It's not great. We shot 8 more free throws than they did. Or excuse me, we made 3 more free throws and we shot 5 more free throws than they did. And the foul count, we had 1 more. Like, there's not a glaring stat here that shows you, oh, hey, they really benefited from this. And we know going down to Lubbock, sometimes the refs can really just love the whistle. But this game ended in an hour and 57 minutes. I mean, this was a short basketball game. Granted, they're 2 20-minute halves, but we all know, like, some of these go 2 plus, almost 2.5 hours. And this one's just so short. What's interesting to me, though, is that Lutz didn't really play. I mean, he played Anthony Roy the most amount of minutes, and he had the most scoring-wise, so I'll get to him in a second. But, like, Christian Coleman, I think a guy who's pretty athletic, who I've been a huge fan of and want to see more playing time, played 13 minutes. Did either of you guys take away much of why he didn't play that much? Or maybe anything had changed if he had played more? Listen, I know he had 3 points on basically one of 3 from the field, but I just think he's not playing enough minutes to make an impact, right?
No, because I mean, like, he was, at least whenever he was doing the OU game and that type of stuff, he did play a bunch of minutes. So my guess would be he's probably hurt potentially, or somebody saw that he wasn't a good matchup against Texas Tech. But that was the only thing I can think of, is he's either hurt or something along those lines, because he didn't play a lot, which is kind of a big concern, and he wasn't like in huge foul trouble from what I remember from the game. So I don't know. It's never a good sign whenever he was on the bench, because I felt like he was at least gaining a little bit more momentum and picking up the pace for us. At least whenever we were playing against like OU, and so I know these are the smaller schools too, but he was at least playing like 20 to 30 minutes somewhere in there, more 25-ish minutes a game. So it's really concerning that he didn't play that many.
Yeah. Ben Ahmed gets 18 minutes. Granted, he gets 9 points, so he made a solid effort there. Then he's perfect from the field shooting-wise, so I love seeing that. But at the same point, in a very fast-paced game, this dude is not a small human being. He's not getting up and down the court extremely well. He just seemed like this was not the game to play him that many minutes. But Alexi, did you take much away from that coaching strategy?
I don't know. It could be that he was hurt. I don't know. Maybe it was just we were down and we needed more shot makers out there. That's the only thing I can really think of. But I mean, none of those. I guess that's really the only thing I can think of, because Clary played 30 minutes and he had 2 points. He shot horribly. He went 1 for 9 from the free field goal, and then 0 for 5 from the 3-point line. Just pretty bad all around performance from him. Victorious Miller was bad too, and he got 32 minutes played it. Really nothing good about the 2 guards. That's the only thing I can think of, though. Maybe they just need more shot makers out there, and he's more like an inside man. So that's you hope that he improves and the team improves as a whole. But I will say a positive, Fallah. How about that Fallah guy inside? He's been really incredible for us. The transfer from Oregon State, I've loved what I've seen from him. So as a positive, great performance from Fallah yesterday. 22 points, I believe he had.
I'm glad that he's healthy because he wasn't healthy in OU, and that kind of shot us in the foot. So I do agree with that.
I think we would have won that OU game if he's healthy, honestly. He plays 10 minutes, puts up like a shot or two, doesn't get a point, and it just is bizarre, honestly, seeing that because he was on the bike, he was trying, and then didn't get off the bench in the second half. And Fallah, you're right, Alexi here. 1 of 2 from 3, already shot out his 5th 3-pointer he's ever made in his career. But he's 5 of 8 from the free throw line and 6 of 10 from the field, or from 2, excuse me. So clearly, we got to get the ball to Fallah a lot more often. I wanted to give a shout out to him and to Anthony Roy, who just seemed like they just really, Anthony Roy just really needs to get the ball more. I cannot believe he's not shooting more. I would also say he needs to get the ball a lot more, but he's playing the most amount of minutes of anyone on the team. He's the guy who comes in, who is the guy looking ahead to the UCF game. Would you change anything from the starting lineup that we had, Trey?
I don't think I would change anything. Because Jalen Curry would be the only one that I would maybe put in there. But I feel like Christian Coleman is who we should go with. And I don't feel like we need to adjust anything. So I feel like our starting 5 is okay, at least versus UCF. Iowa State, I don't know. We may want to mix something up there. It's just hard to tell. Everybody has a bad day, I'm sure, and they did not show up. And of course, we have to go on the road against Iowa State for the very first time this year. So it's going to be an interesting 2 games coming up. That's for sure.
Right now, I use Ken Baum. I know Alexi used Bartovic. They project us to beat UCF, but it's a 51% chance to beat UCF. And it's by 1 point at home. UCF is, Ken Baum's ranking is 43rd in the country, and we're 67th in the country. Great, we're 12-2, but like, strength of schedule is just not good. Looking ahead to this game, Alexi, and kind of the rest of the season here, would you make any big changes to the starting lineup, or does Ahmed deserve a starting chance after now that he's getting healthy? Is basically the question.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, as you get along in the season, it's never bad to make some adjustments and see what you can do in certain situations. It's also just based off the matchup and who they're playing. So, for example, I think against UCF might be a good time to try some things. Against Iowa State, maybe just stick to your guns and go with what you think is the best game plan, because going to Iowa State names is going to be tough no matter what. But at home against UCF, they're pretty similar to us. UCF is 107 in defense efficiency, so just 10 numbers under us, or better than us, I should say. So, I mean, on the offensive side, we should be better. It's just how good is that defense like? I'm not sure. But I think in that kind of game, you can maybe make some adjustments and changes. I don't know if they do. I do still agree. I think Coleman should probably get the start and just roll with him, give him some more time. And, if it's still not looking well later on in the Big 12 play, maybe make those changes. But I don't know. I think the UCF game is a true test to how good we can be in the Big 12, because they just beat Kansas. They're coming off a huge win. That's a big letdown spot. You know how college sports are. These college kids, one day they look great. The next day or the next week, they look totally different. We got to take advantage of that win that they just took over Kansas, because they're going to have a huge letdown spot opportunity.
Yeah, I think there's really a great chance we could just absolutely just play better and win, and really just shoot the ball a lot better from 3. I don't think this is a systemic thing. Kanye Clary is our smallest guy on the court when we put him out there. And for him not to attempt a free throw against Texas Tech is really saying something to me, that he's just not getting to the basket enough. And honestly, watching the game, Tech's bigger. Like, they just really are. They've got better athletes. They clearly have a ton of NIL money if you're new to the game and don't know. So there's a lot for me that I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see how we can get after him. I'm really looking forward to the UCF game on Tuesday, though. It's a home game, Big 12 matchup. Campus has, unfortunately, classes have not yet started. So fingers crossed that fans show out. I'm a little worried that Anthony Roy might be overused, though, by the end of the season. But I think this is the one where maybe he just absolutely just shoots lights out of the ball. And we say it's really, hey, this is the Anthony Roy show. And then Lefterius Mantzoukas, he didn't play against Tech. I do not think a 22-point blowout by Tech means that if he had played, we would have won. But I do think maybe that gets us an extra couple points there. He is a he is a better 3-point shooter than some of the guys we have on the team. He is definitely a guy who comes over from Europe, who is a more seasoned veteran guy who's a little bit older. And listen, like, any of these guys are great basketball players, but having a bigger guard on the court would help us out a little bit against Tech. Maybe that's all of a sudden 102 to 85 instead of 80. But from watching Lefty play this season so far, Trey and Alexi, do you think that we are missing any guys, that are not playing right now that would help us out a ton? I think we have one other center, if I'm correct here, that has not really played for us this season either, right?
I believe so. But even then, I don't feel like we have Fallah's taken over that part, so I'm not too worried about that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you like what we're missing. Maybe more of a defensive lockdown person or help somebody get amped for defense. That's the only thing I can think of, because offense I feel pretty confident on. Obviously we didn't shoot that great against Tech, but for the most part we're usually pretty good. We're shooting about 46 to 48% per game. So I just feel like defense wise we just don't have like a true like lockdown, like this person locks down this guy and they're not scoring.
Yeah. And Mekhi Ragland is the guy I'm thinking of. He's our tallest dude on the court. He's a 6'11" guy, but he's played barely any minutes this season. He did not play against Tech, of course. He's most amount of minutes of the season so far was against Cal State Fullerton, where he got 12 minutes. But I mean, he's a 6'11", 330-pound guy. So getting up and down the court against Tech was probably not his game to get him out there, to be honest. But Alexi, anything else to take away from either Lefty playing a little more or Mekhi Ragland to play a little more? I just know, listen, the guy's a really high-touted recruit coming in. Would love to see him get some minutes, but it just may not be our style to get him in right now.
Yeah. No, I like the way Lefty looked when he would play. I mean, looking at his stats right now, it looks like he averaged about 5 points, 4 rebounds, and he was pretty good shot selection wise. It wasn't like he was trying to force any shots up, which I really like. You can't have a guy out there that's always trying to shoot when he grabs the ball. And I think sometimes you have too many of those at times for Oklahoma State. But I think he can make a good impact inside. You still need guys who can grab rebounds, and that's been a little bit of a struggle, especially we got out rebounded against Texas Tech. Calvin, you mentioned that. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but you still, 6'9", 230, that's a big guy you can have in there to grab the board. So it'd be nice to get him back. He shoots 42.6% from the field. So like I was proves the point about like the shot selection. He's pretty good there. What I would like to see though, a added bonus here, they play 7th fastest pace in the tempo, or fastest pace in the country. I would like to see them sometimes slow it down, especially when they have a lead. I feel like sometimes they play just a little too fast. I don't hate it. I mean, obviously I love to score points and go up and down, but I think at times it kind of dictates their turnovers. And if they continue to do that when they have a lead, I just think that could be a crucial point of the game. So yeah, I'd like them to slow it down a little bit. That's something I want to see them do against UCF.
Yeah, I mean, we attempted 42 free throws against Bethune-Cookman because I just don't think they can really keep up with us. Mm-hmm. And I do agree. I love just sprinting on the court and not giving them a chance, and it's great. But then again, Cookman there scored 16 in the last 10 minutes of the game, and we scored 22. Like, I'm not saying they were coming back at all, but there is a point where maybe we should be able to play with a little bit better tempo of understanding kind of what we're doing. So interesting overall.
Who knows? Maybe sometimes that impacts the defense. I mean, when you're running up and down the court and the balls or the clock isn't stopping, you're not getting a lot of stoppage. I mean, that wears you down during the game. I know we have some nice guys on the bench who can come off and do well, but I know I'm just saying that could be a reason why sometimes the defense does struggle. It may not be the biggest reason and the loophole that we have, but definitely need to figure out a way to improve. And maybe that's a little bit of a reason why is just the tempo we play at.
Yeah, and anyone wanting to kill me over here, my comment of Lefty being a three-point shooter, I understand he's a 27% three-point shooter this season so far, but he does look like he can shoot the ball a little better than some of the guys on the team. He hasn't played that many minutes. The rest of the guys on the team that I would love to see is like Ryan Crotty. I mean, he's coming in. He is the, dare I say, stereotypical white dude who's known as the shooter on the team. I mean, he's 30% from three right now, but he's put up 24 attempts on the season. I mean, I feel like Anthony Roy should be putting up 24 attempts between the Texas Tech game and this game coming up, and not just 8 overall. So if we're going to play with this much pace, or we're just really trying to outrun teams, we honestly got to be shooting a lot better from 3. But also, the guys that do shoot well from 3 have to be putting it up a lot more. 8 3-pointers shot in a game seems insane in a 40-minute match. But then again, it's not that crazy whenever at the end of the day, what overall, I think we shot like 41 shots on the game. Like we have to 41 twos, 26 threes. Like we've either got to make, 10 and go for 10 for 30 or something. Something's got a little bit different. That the numbers have to come back to us a little bit better there than shooting 30% from 3, especially when they're going to shoot 46%. Like that's the main thing. We're not getting boards, and we're not shooting well from 3. So, Trey, you have the brand new segment here. We hope to keep going on weekly here with the trivia. So, Trey, whoever gets it first between Alexi and I, we will try to answer. But Trey, give us the trivia.
Perfect. So in 1945, that feels like forever ago. It is. Oklahoma State, at that time, Oklahoma A&M went to their first bowl game. What bowl game was it? I'll give you multiple choice. We have the Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, or Cotton Bowl.
I'm going to say Cotton Bowl. Close. Alexi, do you just know off the top of your head? You grinned real big there.
Well, that was the first thing that came to mind to me too, was the Cotton Bowl. So I'm going to say the Cotton Bowl.
Yes, you are both correct. It is Cotton Bowl. Now, the trick question for bonus points. Do you know who we played against?
I'm going to guess not Army, because it was during World War II. And they
are actually in our conference now, to give you a little bit of a hint.
Now. Oh, that's key. I think now was the key deal.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to say Houston. Cotton Bowl, 45, Houston. Yeah, I'm putting together the geography and the transportation costs and stuff during a World War. Or, I mean, granted, the World War is over, right? But, like, still, you guys get what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no idea myself, but my guess will just be West Virginia.
We are both very close. I'm going to go with TCU is the actual answer. And we actually whooped them. It was a good 34-0.
Wow.
So not too bad for our very first Cotton Bowl appearance and bowl game.
Nice.
Really tripped me up there with saying now. It made me think of Scott.
They are now
in the conference.
They are new.
But they're not the newest. You said now. I feel like I was thinking more off.
They're not an original Big 12 team. They're not an original.
Yeah, that Mountain West school. How did we ever let them in? Anything else you guys want to add on here to the latest Oklahoma State podcast here? Let me ask this. Any wish list guy for the portal here that you just love to see us get here that we have not gotten so far?
I just feel like we just need a statement on the defensive side. I know we're been very much offensive right now. I feel like we just need a statement like linebacker or defensive end. And I feel like that would probably solidify my wish list at this moment in time.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. We know we will be able to find talent on offense. I don't think that's question at all, especially with the way Eric Morris plays and what kind of play calls. So much worried about the offensive side. What we get, I think we'll be fine. But we do need to find some guys on defense. We can't go out there and have that, typical Big 12 Oklahoma State defense who gives up a 3rd and 20 every single time when they're trying to get a stop, and it's like 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 20, and you just know it's coming. They're going to get a first down. So get the guys on defense, go up there and find someone who can make a big statement. Look what Texas Tech did. They had a great D line. Not to get too much into that game, but their defense was incredible, and you don't usually see that from a Big 12 team. So go out there, find some guys in the Big 12 and on the defensive side.
We could probably talk about the college football playoff games forever. Trey and I had multiple incorrect picks there. I don't know. I'm gonna run it back.
We were rough.
I think we both had Georgia. I know we both had
Tech.
Oh gosh, we both had Tech.
I expected better Tech too.
Neither of us had Miami, of course. We had Ohio State. Both of us did. And then I think we both had Indiana.
So we got 1 out of 4. So really great odds.
Yeah, just a great batting average. So we'll be back next week there with a little bit better, maybe. I mean, who are you picking this? Who are you guys picking this weekend? Coming up Thursday. Weirdly enough, we don't have the games on Saturday.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
I'm gonna go with Indiana, and I'm surprisingly gonna go with the U. I believe in the U now. I just also don't want any more SEC teams. So that SEC, little. Where everybody's like, SEC is the best thing. Well, they haven't. They've been awful this bowl games and the playoffs so far. They've only won against themselves or James Madison.
Yep.
All right. What about you? What you got, Alexi?
I'll go Indiana. They just looked so damn impressive.
So impressive.
I knew they were good, but I did not think they were this good. And I think it finally clicked when they crushed Alabama. And I didn't think Alabama was good at all. Like, I didn't think they deserved to even be in the playoffs. But the fact that they just manhandled them, 3 points, I love it. Love what Indiana did. That was amazing. So I'll do
offensive line too.
Yeah, incredible all around. So I like Indiana. I think it will be a close game, though. I think Oregon will give them a close one. The way that Dan Lanning is such a great coach. So Indiana, I'll go, and then I don't like to say this because I'm also kind of rooting against the SEC, but Imbliss looked so good for Ole Miss that game against Georgia. I think that'll be close too. The Miami defense is legit, but I'll say Ole Miss also wins a close one, but I think Indiana ends up winning it all.
All right. Well, I'm going to hop my soapbox for 1 second. Can we not have repeats? Like, how many times are we going to have repeats? This is the 3rd round in a row of the college football playoffs where we've got repeats. Whenever we were talking about this years ago, back in 2014, and TCU and Baylor, neither of them made it, right? But it was, you know what? It's because they both are Big 12 teams. The Big 12 doesn't have a championship, et cetera. I'm just really sick and tired of, at this point, seeing repeats after repeats. And that's why I'm going to pick Oregon. I think it's so hard to beat a team twice. I just think it's incredibly, incredibly tough to beat a team twice. I'm picking Oregon just because of that one literal fact. Indiana looked dominant against Alabama. Absolutely dominant. But you know what? Alabama looked really bad. And in most of their games this season, we saw them play OU for the second time, and they somehow win that one, even in Norman. And yeah, listen, I know OU didn't do great there, and John Mateer threw a couple passes that just were not up to his standard, of playing. But it's a really tough deal whenever we've got 3 straight rounds of this. But I'm going to differ a little bit. I'll pick Oregon, and I'm going to pick Ole Miss. I mean, watching that Ole Miss Georgia game, I think Georgia's defense is pretty good. They had 2 guys get knocked out of the game for the second half pretty much on defense, and then all of a sudden Ole Miss came back. But you know what? I think Miami's defense is insanely good. I think Ole Miss's defense is really, really good too comparatively. Dare I say, I think Ole Miss's defense might be a little better than Ohio State's. I think Ohio State honestly just really wasn't tested this season at all. Some of these teams are not playing top talent, and we're making a bunch out of the rankings when you played a Texas team week 1 in your own background that it just didn't go to the playoffs, and at the time thought of maybe the best team in the country.
Yep. And I also hope not just Ole Miss to win, but just to continue making Lane Kiffin probably hate that he had to leave to go to LSU so early.
He's getting all the money, so he doesn't care.
Well, yeah, he doesn't care, but still, if you're a true human, you have to be sitting there like, gosh, this is my team. Like, I want to be the guy. I'm the head coach, and I get none of this credit because he doesn't. He shouldn't. And it's why, in a way, I kind of hate the way college sports are right now. How do you leave a team in the freaking middle of such an amazing run that you're on with all these guys you brought in, and you just go to LSU because whatever? That's why I think college sports, they need to switch. I think we talked about this, but really quick, my last soapbox. Stop with the coaching changes being made in season. There should be in transfer portal stuff. You can't enter the portal. None of that stuff should happen until absolutely a final game of the championship game. Once that happens, then boom, open everything up. Yeah. But coaches shouldn't just be able to leave in the middle of a season like that. Or I just hate it. It's just stupid. It just kind of goes away from what college sports is all about.
You basically said what I sent to Calvin earlier this week. I was like, basically move up the season by 1 week, play every Saturday in December for like the college championship, the national championship on July 1st, and then the portal opens up and the coaches can move, do all that after the season's over. it shouldn't be that hard. We shouldn't have this like, should I do this? Should I do that type of mentality.
I do want to say, if it works out in a way where it's more even, where the coaches are currently, I mean, you've got Kurt Signetti saying, I'm going to block off 4 hours to be portal recruiting during my playoff championship, playoff semifinal appearance coaching stuff. All right, well, maybe that gives Oklahoma State here a better chance of getting a couple guys out of the portal. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm not going to be that mad about it, but it is dumb. At the end of the day, it is one of the things that is really taking down college football, is that we're all talking about the portal and transfer additions, and there's games being played on Thursday and Friday, and then they'll be played just a little bit later for the championship game, and it all just seems so watered down at the end of the day. Yeah. I do want to give a big shout out to the teams that are having fun with the Tony the Tiger Bowl and the Pop-Tart Bowl, and
I love the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Just, hey, it needs to be the Citrus Orange Bowl. I don't know what we're doing there with the sponsorship rights, but that's probably a whole other podcast here later on this season. So, Trey, what Dan Lanning said and moving the schedule is something that I think all college football fans would be a lot for. But then again, you move it up another week, you know what happens? A lot of these Big Ten schools still don't have students on campus for another month at that point. Like UCLA looks so bizarre because, their students live nowhere close, their stadium's nowhere close to campus, yada, yada. But also, their class isn't in session for like the first month. So when you're playing week 0 against Hawaii back in 2021, I went, there's no one there because it's Hawaii and it's in August and it's UCLA and they're like, we're on trimesters and we don't even have any students on campus yet. So it's all just a bizarre deal. Trey, Alexi, thanks so much for joining here on the latest episode of the CGA Tour podcast. If you're not already, please follow at the CGA Tour on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, wherever you listen to podcasts. And I got to say, follow Alexi. Big 12 Brothers, right? That's the new podcast.
Yeah, we just started it. We like the Big 12 a lot. We think it deserves more credit and respect that it gets, especially for football. So we are going to be doing a lot of coverage for like Big 12 teams this season and just kind of talking, basketball and just whatever we want to do. And of course, Oklahoma State. So follow for some fun.
All right. Well, go Pokes, and we'll catch you guys again soon.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Today's episode is brought to you by Oakley Burklow, your go-to independent insurance agent and proud OSU alum. They help with home, auto, life, and bits insurance, working with multiple top-rated insurance companies to find you the right coverage at the right price. Licensed in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Call 918-280-9068 or email oakley.burklow@connectmyinsurance.com. Personal service, honest advice, and a fellow poke helping you protect momentum.
Approve.